Welcome back to the rest of the story. The barn is back up and running. We went and picked up a few more calves. I haven't talked about doing bottle calves since we started here. These guys, we actually had 4. One of them did not make it. He had a respiratory issue. These 3 guys early on, 2 weeks ago, they are 2 weeks old since we've gotten them today, are all doing really well. They're eating well. They're eating food, starting to eat solid grain. This guy, yeah. They're all doing really well. Dad and I went and bought 6 more today. They're all done and fed, bedded, and just kind of hanging out, relaxing. This guy, don't worry, he doesn't have any health issues going on with him at all. He's really just likes to sprawl out. His chain, yes, he does have a chain. So do they all. So does Fritzy. Definitely not in any kind of pain here. I mean, I can put my hand in between the chain and his neck and he's fine. Now I want to show you guys something that I've never seen a black Holstein have before. Does this look like scours to you? Now scours are essentially diarrhea for humans, and it is a very big issue that any cattle person, especially a bottle calf raiser, deals with. This is something that was going to keep me from buying him, because that is something that I look for when I purchase calves. Now these are all Dad's calves except Fritzy down there. That is Ryan's. Well, she is Ryan's. I was actually doing the bidding today. I was watching for what we were looking for in calves, and he's got, I don't know if this is actually considered a birthmark or more of a genetic thing, but I at first glance thought this was scours, and whenever I see a calf with scours coming through the ring, I immediately write it off, because that calf is already showing signs of increased stress, plus the shipping fever it's going to have just bringing him home and getting him in and going. All right, bud. But yeah, he literally just has a red patch of hair in his leg. I've never seen that on a black Holstein. I got a red Holstein right there. He's munching on his feed, and I've never seen a red Holstein with a black patch of hair on them. So I'm not exactly sure what we got going on here. All I care though is that he's healthy. That is kind of cool. It's kind of fun when you go and buy new calves. The different patterns you get on them. I mean, they all have their own personalities, but they all drank well. They didn't give us any issues. When buying calves, the first thing I look for, as I said, is scours. Their back end is covered in, diarrhea. I also look for any birth defects, limping, hunched backs, if they're walking kind of stiff, and essentially there's 2 boys. When I say boys, maybe like an 8 and a 10-year-old that was actually showing the calves in the ring today. And well, not even just them, but like the adults too. But one thing I really look for that will really get me to buy a calf is if I see that calf actively chasing the person in the ring that's showing the calves and moving around, actively chasing them around, trying to suck their hands, like trying to suck on their jeans or something. It shows that they're hungry, they're interested, they have energy enough there, they have enough life in them, that they are at least trying to live. The Holsteins, I've said it in the past, Holsteins, it seems like they're really quick to give up the ghost. As far as if they get too far sick, too far ill, they're really quick to just kind of lay down and die. It's really aggravating. He's just looking lazy to me, but he drank his whole bottle of milk. I mean, he drank it all on his own. Dad fed him, and he's just stretched out, just kicking it. But Holsteins, it's aggravating. If they start getting a bellyache or whatever else is bothering them, it takes a lot of energy and effort to keep them going. I always say 2 weeks. You get past the first 2 weeks. Fritzy, what's the matter? You get them past the first 2 weeks after bringing them home. You get that shipping fever out of them. Potentially, hopefully, any bugs that they have in them are pretty well worked through, or they've gotten past that point far enough where they're starting to fight it out of them. And then for the most part, you're pretty well set. I don't know how many calves we're going to end up getting. This was kind of a last minute management decision. And the goal is to get, I think, maybe like twice as many in here yet. That's the plans. And then probably going to be looking at doing it the rest of the winter. Can't promise that though, so don't hold me to it. But the barn is up and running again. The lights, yes, we do have to go through and replace a bunch of lights. They're burnt out. These are, I think, 200-watt light bulbs. They burn out really quick in here. This barn always was terrible as far as going through light bulbs. I want to go through, I think we talked about that earlier today. We're going to look at buying those LED lights and see how well they handle being in here. Now, it is kind of quiet. The fans were all on when I started the video. It's basically just so I can talk to you guys. But ventilation is key, especially when you're raising bottle calves, because you got to keep fresh air going over top these guys. You don't want a fan sitting right here blowing on this calf, because that will potentially lead to issues too. But you got to keep the air in the building itself moving, which we have been, and the calves are doing really well. It's a little bit easier to raise them in the summer, don't get me wrong. In the winter, there's a few more challenges as far as everything wanting to freeze and keeping everybody warm and healthy. But if you can justify doing it, heck, why not? A lot of these guys, we bought these few today. I think 80 cents a pound, I think, was the highest we paid for these guys. And I think I've walked past enough that you guys can tell that they are doing really well. They are really nice looking calves. I mean, don't get me wrong, he might look kind of bummed. I think he's just a bum. And also the reason this video is called Junior, for those of you that stuck around this long, my grandpa always used to call the bottle calves Junior when we were milking cows. Every calf was Junior. Go feed Junior, go check on Junior, go bed Junior, go move Junior, go do whatever else. Bulls, heifers, really didn't matter. So we never really got too attached to calves. We grew up in a farming background. From a very early point in Ryan's and my sister's lives, we all understood how life works and our role in it, should you say. I don't know, people are probably going to condemn us for tying them up on chains, or, well, to be honest with you, they actually got it pretty good. The chains are really loose. I can get my arm in between the chain and their neck. They're pretty much just there just to keep them in place. They are not veal calves. These guys will be on milk for 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, we're going to wean them off. They will be on grain by then. We're going to put them outside in either this lot or one of the lots out of my brother's place, and they're going to be getting grain all winter. They're going to get all the hay they can eat, plenty of bedding, and they'll be living the good life. So I'm not too worried about animal rights activists. I mean, give me a break. I'm not here to argue any of those points, but all right, I thought you guys just wanted an update from my perspective. Fritz, what's the matter? Fritzy. And she is a resident manager in here. She isn't going to be in here too much longer. To be honest, she's coming up on getting weaned off pretty quick here. So, of course we could. Well, the problem is she's so tame. She's like a dog. That's what Ryan's cow Rosie was. She was this big and bigger, all the way up to 500 pounds. And back when we were milking, Ryan would put a leash on Rosie and walk her around the yard so my grandpa and grandma could see him, and they thought that was hilarious. So at that point in my grandparents' lives, anything you could do to get them to laugh was worth it. But they're saying thunderstorms for the next few days. I have a bunch of videos planned, a bunch of maintenance that has to be done. On top of that, we have some fences to do. We got a bin to put up. And the problem is, dare I say it, harvest is right around the corner. Guys are starting to chop corn already. We are not about to chop anything for silage yet. Down the road someday, maybe we won't be even doing YouTube by then, but corn harvest, soybean harvest. It was the last week of September last year. We were combining soybeans, and soybeans were coming out of the field at 13%. They'd ideally want them at 12%, but they'll take them at 13%. So I don't know. Andrew's out here today. The crops are awesome in our little area of the world. I'm being conservative as far as what yields will be. I gotta tell you guys, I'm not doing as much yield scouting as I used to do in the past, as far as counting ears and kernels and whatever else, because at this point in the game there's not much I can really do about it. Even if I knew that I was going to run 140, 160, 180 bushels to the acre, there's not a heck of a whole lot I can do about it right now other than wait for harvest. So I think that's what I'm going to do this year. The beans look nice. The problem is everybody knows that the beans look nice, so the markets and the basis is really nasty, is really starting to reflect it. They're saying that the whole demand thing is a big problem with the soybeans, plus the fact that we do have a great crop. And for the Midwest, where we are, what they use for moving a lot of the grains, the crops and everything out of this area is using the Mississippi, the lock and dam system with the barges. And the problem is that according to our local elevator, they're saying that the freight charges for going up and down the river have increased, so they passed, thankfully enough, they were able to pass those extra expenses onto us, and the farmers doing our job, we're paying that extra expense to get that crop out of here, because, you know, that's just what we do, right? Pass the expenses on to the farmer. So that's enough for this video. See you later, Fritz. And I'm not going to get carried away calling it these guys much of anything other than, hey, Junior, wake up. Yeah, he's doing all right. So, anybody that's still watching, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you guys later.